What is going on, Colts Nation? He is Jamal, and I'm Eric, your co-host of the Colts Cast.
What's going
Jamal,
on?
who we drafting in April?
I don't know. The combine's this upcoming week, though, so I guess we're gonna get a chance to see a lot of stuff here.
Yeah,
I think it was today Sunday, so starts tomorrow. Yeah, so this
yeah,
should be interesting to see. We're gonna see some people go up the list. We're gonna see people go down the list. I think Ballard and Steichen are scheduled for a press conference this week, so we'll see what they talk about. Won't be much, I'm sure, but it'll be interesting to hear their take on some of the players we see here in Indy this upcoming week. So I don't know.
should
I don't
be.
know.
It should be interesting. The NFL Combine, and yep, it's right around the corner in Indy next week. But before we get there, let's talk about some Colts players who are about to hit the free market in March. So, Jamal, I would say we got a handful of players that are about to hit unrestricted free agency status
Mhm.
in March. We have Ashton Doolin, Danny Pinner, David Long Jr., Dio Dangbo, EJ Speed, Grant Stuard, Joe Flacco, Julian Blackman, Juwan Winfrey, Kylan Granson, Mark Lewinsky, Molly Cox, Ronnie Harrison, Ryan Kelly, Sam Ellinger, Taven Bryan, Trey Sermon, and Will Fries. So out of all of those guys, we picked three free agents, Colts free agents that the Colts should target. Re-sign them, get them back on the squad because they are necessary to the long-term future and success of the Colts, we believe, at least. So, Jamal, you want to kick us off?
Yeah. Sam Ellinger. No, I'm just kidding. That's my dog. He's not on our list,
No,
but
just
that's my
say
dog.
just say you want Sam Ellinger.
Sam's my dog. But before you get into this thing, hit that like and subscribe button. Drop a comment below. Let us know your thoughts on the combine coming up. Who you like to see? Who you expect to have a good day, bad day? And out of these top three that we talk about for free agency, who you want to keep, or maybe somebody you think we should keep instead. Like I said, there's some players, and Eric mentioned the list of people. There's some players in here. Obviously, we didn't pick. Sam is one of those guys we did not pick. That doesn't mean we don't want the player. We just picked the three that we think that definitely hold some solid benefit to us, and the future of what this organization is coming on. So let's
Yeah.
talk about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Sam Ellinger, love to have a QB3 back, but did not crack our top three.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead. Who do you want first?
We got to talk about the most important one, and I think a lot of Colts fans would agree. It's got to be Will Fries.
Oh yeah.
He's the most important free agent for the Colts right now. You know what? If you asked me this a year ago, whether or not we should re-sign Fries, I would say that, nah, maybe. But Jamal, look what one season can do for you. I mean, his stock has gone dramatically up. The 26-year-old was playing like a top 5 guard for the Colts in 2024 before his broken leg that ended his season. We got to get this man back. The expectation, I believe, my expectation is that Braden Smith will not be a Colt, and possibly Ryan Kelly as well. So you have to bring one of your best run blockers for the team that, heavily relies on the success of Jonathan Taylor and Anthony Richardson's ground game. Regardless of the injury concerns, surrounding his leg, I think this guy is a stud. He showed it last season. Retain him.
Yeah, you got to. Will Fries, I mean, straight dog. You guys know I love the offensive lineman. Somebody who stepped in. We had a lot of issues with that guard spot, of course, after week 5. We even got Glowinski back and those guys. PFF graded Will Fries leading into this, Eric, an 86.9 overall grade, 74.9 on that pass blocking, 84.9 on the run blocking. Dude did it all when he was in there. Like you mentioned, he was well on that trajectory to just, be that top 4, top 5 guard. He says he wants to be here. Keep him here, get some stability, especially not knowing what's going on with Ryan Kelly. He's still up in the air right now. He may be gone this year. Bortolini may be stepping in there. So we want to have some continuity on this offensive line. So why not go ahead and bring somebody back who wants to be here and is rehabbing that injury and we know can come back in and then fill that blank and keep going for us.
Yeah, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Yep.
Will Fries is going to be hopefully coming back to us. Who's our second stud?
Second stud. Hey, this guy, this is Mr. Irrelevant from the 2021 NFL draft himself, Mr. Grant Stuard. One of the hardest workers on the defense and the special teams. I mean, this is a guy who Again, I know people talked a lot about, Zaire and EJ Speed's podcast, but like I just always enjoyed hearing them talk about Grant and kind of his energy he brings to the room every day to the field, because he knows he's not the biggest, the fastest player, but he plays like a dog every single play. And that's like that mentality. You can't teach someone that. Every time you see Grant on the field, you just see that hair flowing from side to side, end to end on the field. He had a lot of opportunities this year, especially with Carlisle getting injured earlier on and Speed being out, for a couple games. According to PFF, I think he made like 32 of his last 35 tackles. I know that Dolphins game was a lackluster game. It was kind of all over the place, but my man balled out the game. He had 19 tackles with 11 solos. And I'm not saying that that's an every week occurrence for him, but the point is, it's like that's someone who's on the field and can fly side to side. And I think other people feed off of that. So I think when you have someone like that who can be out there, who's a playmaker on the field when he can be, who's definitely clearly is a nice voice to have, in the locker room, because I've only heard high praises about him. Those kind of people we want to keep around, because while he may not be a starter for us today, he brings that extra energy and the that we need in his org to keep it running.
Yeah, he reminds me of Bob Sanders. Now, Bob Sanders was, amazing, amazing. Probably not to the talent level of Sanders, but just that energy, those hard hits, giving that effort 100% of the time. That's the type of energy this team needs right now. He's a special teams ace. Got a good bit of play time in 2024, 229 defensive snaps. That's the most since he's been a Colt. Like you said, Jamal, the Miami game, he was shutting, that run game kind of down. Like he was there making those tackles, 18, 19 tackles there. I'm here for it. Sure, he's probably not as talented, to be a starting every down linebacker for this team right now, like you said, but I think there's value in re-signing him. Having solid depth is always a good thing. And as long as this contract doesn't break the bank, which I don't think it would, bring back Grant to provide some depth and be that special teams player for this team, that top special teams player. I mean, he's got to be a top 3 ace for us. So, let's get Stewart back in here.
Yeah. Who's your last one?
Last guy. I hope this doesn't cause ripples within Colts Nation. Julian Blackman. Our guy, Julian Blackman. I like Blackman, Jamal. I think the decision on whether to re-sign him or not will ultimately come down to the draft. Now I know free agency is before the draft. It starts, but we've talked about Malachi Starks. We've talked about Lou Anarumo coming in. Scheme's a little different. Kind of wants a high level safety back there to kind of control that defense. So Blackman is a quality starter. I don't, if they resign him, I don't think they'll target a safety early in those early rounds if he's resigned. I think the knock on Blackman is that injury history. He's missed about a full season worth of games in 4 years. That's a lot. But I think Anarumo is going to have the ultimate say-so on whether he wants to utilize Blackman in 2025 in this kind of new look defense. But let's not forget, Blackman he either led or tied the team in interceptions for the last 2 years. So playmaker there. I just think you have to re-sign him, given that Nick Cross is probably your only real other starter on the squad back in that safety group. So it's going to be real interesting to see what they do with Blackman, because last year they gave him that 1-year deal. He tested the market. Obviously wasn't a lot for him in that safety market last year. So Ballard ended up bringing him back. We'll see what happens this year.
Yeah, definitely. And like you said, with those injuries, I mean, that's obviously something that I feel like that's like the Colts kryptonite. Obviously, every team has injuries, but like when you hear the injury word, you just start seeing like flashbacks of the and then you hate it because it just scares you. But of course, he's having off season offseason surgery. God, I can't speak today. Surgery this year to repair that shoulder. So hopefully he'll be back. Obviously that career year in 2023 was crazy, which is why they kind of let him test the market and stuff. And then I believe they said they had him projected roughly like a 3-year, $21 million contract is what he's kind of projected at, which will put him like the 20th highest paid safety, which I think that's still a very doable contract. But like you said, I think if that's something where the Colts entertain that, do we look to get a Malachi, that early, or kind of what's our thought process with that? So I would be completely content with getting Blackman back in here, because I definitely think that, he probably stepped his level down a little bit, especially if you're, nursing the injury all year long. It's kind of hard to give your full effort. We saw that even with Pittman and some of these guys, they have injuries all year. They can't give forth the effort. So I'm not counting him out. I definitely think he can still play at a high level. And I think that we need the depth pieces to there. So I think we still attack a safety somewhere in the draft. But if we do sign him, I wouldn't be surprised to see us, kind of maybe loosen up a little bit in the safety until later on in the draft. So
Yeah, we'll definitely see what's going to happen. The combine is going to shake things up. It's going to shake up the mock draft boards, of course. Being able to put your talent and skills on display, whether we're looking at athletic traits or they're going through the drills. It's going to be nice to see. So, but 3 free agents, we think the Colts should try to re-sign. We got Will Fries, Grant Stuart, and Julian Blackman. Of course, they're at the top of our list. There's some other free agents out there that probably should come back with the Colts, but we just wanted to give y'all a 3-piece, and that's about it, Jamal.
That's it. Yeah, let's get ready for this fun week of new combine info.
Unless we have some crazy news that's happening in the Colts community this week.
We'll see what
happens. That's going to be it for us, everyone. Thank you for listening to the Colts Cast. We're live on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, or any platform you use to listen to podcasts, and we'll be back next time to give you some more Indianapolis Colts content.
Y'all take it easy.